Welcome to another episode of Spilling the Veal. We got your host, Terence Jennings, and our co-host slash producer, Blake McCauley. And we're taking a slight break from interviews this week. We'll get right back to it next week. But we have a huge interview coming up with another Louisville legend. And I just can't wait. I'm super excited. How's it going over there, Blake? What you got going on, man?
Nothing much. Jumped on, kind of got the matching, well, not really matching hats, but both coming in with the red hats today. But
Yeah.
it's been a minute since we've done a single pod with no interview. There's a lot that's been going on. You've had a couple teammates going to or get inducted, not inducted yet, but going into the Louisville Hall of Fame. ABCD camp is coming back, and just the schedule release started the whole semester. We got a lot to cover today.
Yeah, we got a lot to cover. I'm super excited about the ABCD camp making its return. A lot of legends that came through there. A lot of players that I played with. It's history of basketball. So I'm excited for the upcoming youth to get to experience that, and I can't wait to get into that. And conference, it's a lot. It's a lot coming up.
Yeah. What do you remember most from ABCD camp? Obvious, for those that don't know, it was kind of a giant basketball camp where the elite of the elite would go, sponsored by Adidas and Reebok towards the end. If you think anybody you think of, early 2000s, LeBron James, Sebastian Telfair, I know through Louisville, you were there, Earl Clark, Brandon Bender, Larry O'Bannon. A lot of legends that have played at Louisville have gone through and played for ABCD camp. What was that whole experience like for you?
It was huge. The pristine that came with, getting invited. I didn't get to go to McDonald's All American, so that for me, ABCD camp was the thing for me at the time. It was in New Jersey. It was my first time. I believe it was my first time being on the East Coast. So they picked me up in a limo. Got a nice limo at the time. That's when limos were a thing.
Oh yeah,
Of course, I couldn't drink, so it wasn't any champagne or anything. But we had
just a
sparkling
nice ride
cider.
there.
There was some sparkling cider, Gatorades, and stuff like that, or whatever the drink at the time. But I just remember getting in that car, gear, Adidas gear, and most people don't know. It's like they went from a history of just a different branding. They were Nike and different now Adidas, Reebok. So at the time, it was Reebok. I believe it was Reebok.
I think
So
so.
we had Reebok stuff and headbands, sweatband. At that time, that was headbands, sweatbands, all the bands. If you got the bands, you the man. So just gear, getting gear. Then you get to see all these guys that OJ Mayo was there at the time, and Isaiah, I believe Isaiah Thomas was there, Brandon Jennings, uh, Lil Romeo,
Kevin Love. Kevin Love.
Kevin Love, Tyler King, Tracy Smith, DeAndre
Billy
Jordan,
Skywalker.
Billy Skywalker. The list goes on. Just a lot of legends. So, and a few of these guys actually had their own like media team following them at the time. So, I wasn't one of those guys, but I was just watching what was going on around me, and these guys were famous. I was talking about really famous at a time when it wasn't any social media or anything like that, but you knew who all these players were through magazines, through real national television. You couldn't just become famous online and make a post and become that guy. You had to, people put you on ESPN. These guys are on ESPN, CBS, really highly publicized things. So I got in there and I was just ready to, I wasn't known. I was ready to dunk on everybody and kill whoever I could because and make myself known. Sonny Vaccaro, man, he a legend. I met him, but I didn't know who he was because he was so low key when I first met him. And this guy just got to handing me a whole bunch of gear. I thought he was just a gear, like a manager, just a dude that he runs the whole thing. He's handing out gear individually to the players, making sure all the players land comfortable. He's greeting them, and awesome guy, humble, and yeah, I mean, it was a legendary event, and I'm so glad Tracy McGrady is bringing it back, and it's gonna be huge for us. It's gonna be huge.
Yeah, those that don't know who Sonny Vaccaro is, he's the one that founded Michael Jordan. So I mean,
Right.
that's
I
a
mean,
big deal to be able to sit down
just
and
leave
just
it out there. Leave it
yeah,
at Mike. Yeah, but he got more. A lot. Everybody. A lot of more players in the NBA. The list goes on, but Michael Jordan, that's it. We're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking about OJ Mayo, I remember you talked about there not being any like social media back then.
Right.
He's one of the first players I remember seeing on ESPN and stuff of him being tagged like the next. I don't want to say Michael Jordan, but like the
Right.
next guy. Did you
Right.
ever see anything from OJ like this guy is different?
Yeah, for sure. I can just tell he had his pro game was he was playing like a pro then. So I could just tell how his body control, how under control he was, calm he was. Yeah, I mean he was a talented player. Him, Billy Skywalker, and he would go for 50 at any point. You know, those you could go for 50 just easily without breaking a sweat. But it was just fun to watch those guys just kind of, you'll be playing, but you'll kind of just sit back and watch like, man, these guys are really talented and they deserve all the credit that they get. They put the work in. They're always in the gym working on their game. Um, his smoothness was what kind of stuck out to me, just how he could ball control and how he controlled the pace of the game. For sure, for sure.
Yeah, that guy was different, especially even at
Athletic too.
USC. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I've always heard like the recruiting battles between Nike, Adidas, things like that. Some people just prefer the brand over one another. Some people just like the Nike cert, the EYBL over Adidas. Was Adidas a big factor in your whole recruitment or high school process, or did you ever see that be a process with anybody else?
uh, no, not really. I did my preference at the time was probably Nike. Nike at my time was always the premier brand to me. But I didn't care about brands. I just wanted to play ball and go to a school. I didn't find out Adidas was sponsoring Louisville till I got some roses, some Derrick Roses at the time. I'm like, oh, this Adidas. That's what we doing. Let me get them. Didn't like the first couple pair I got. Had to swap them out till I found a pair I did like. So, uh, yeah, Reebok was always cool, but Adidas, it was always a competition between those three brands, but it didn't play a factor to me. Just give me the best comfortable shoe and let's rock and roll. For
Yeah.
sure.
Throughout that whole camp, all those legends that you're surrounded with, is there any one or two memories that really just stick with you to this day?
Uh, yeah, just the energy in the gym, and just the anticipation of each game, and just going, the eagerness to go out there and perform against these guys that you know, were at the top of the top. All this media there, all this coverage. Like I said, no social media, so you got to get your name out there. There's only select few times that you're able to make make your presence be felt and known across the world. Not just in your state, your region, or where you're from, but all over the world. And you're talking about East Coast, New York type of media. So this is a big deal, especially me being from California. But yeah, the games were intense.
JB Creative, your trusted website designer and content creator, making your brand stand out from the rest. From web design and SEO to brand development for your business, JBC's got you covered. Let's go create.
So at the beginning of September now, football started. We're a couple weeks in. Do you remember your first about month into college, kind of that whole experience for you?
Yeah, for sure. I just remember kind of getting your classes together, figuring out what classes you're going to take, and kind of getting your tutors, getting your schedule organized, because you're going to be working. You're going to be busy. Soon as I basically remember hitting the ground running. Soon as I got to campus, I was working out or my head was in a book somewhere. So and they did a good job of just helping me get organized, making sure I was on top of everything. And yeah, it was fun. The process was wonderful. Getting kind of getting to know my teammates and figure out who they are and how they move, and
Was this the first time you kind of lived on your own, like outside of off the West Coast, like in your own kind of by yourself, or what was that whole experience like? Just
Well, no, not really, because I went to prep school, so I
oh,
was
I got you.
experienced with living on a campus, basketball, school balance environment. So I was already kind of adjusted to that a year prior. So it was just about just kind of finding that balance, getting my footing, and figuring out, you know, kind of how I want to develop as a player and also academically. So once I got there, I'm trying to get my code to the gym, make sure I got my handprint. I can get inside the gym when I need to. Make sure I got all my classes. I got my books. I go hit the bookstore. Make sure I got all my books. Know what classes I'm taking. What's my major? Get meeting with my tutor. Um, yeah, shout out my tutor, Liz. Shout out Liz. Appreciate you. You got me through a lot of tough times. But yeah. So yeah, it's about kind of just getting yourself acclimated, and I was just excited. Some players, some people, some players, newcomers, they might feel like it's a little overwhelming, but I was ready to get to it, and I had a lot of help. So yeah.
What did it look like, kind of practice? What this whole month of September before we're about to start the official season? What does that whole month of practice look like, and kind of your individual development wise?
Conditioning, just all conditioning. That's all that's just what it is. It's conditioning. 5 a.m. swimming pool. We're in the Olympic size swimming pool. We're running track the next day. Then we're doing weights. Then we're doing something in the morning, conditioning. Then we're coming back later on in the afternoon. We're doing like an hour and a half, maybe sprints, running with the weight bags, weights, anything to make us throw up. Whatever can just make us puke up a lung. That's what we're doing. Really challenging our bodies and pushing our bodies to the limit, because at the time we were in the Big East, so we're getting ready for just that Big East physicality. So we're trying
Right.
to put on muscle, we're trying to weight lift, we're trying to eat protein shakes. We're just trying to bulk up, put on that mass, but also making sure that our wind is up, because that's what I noticed that saved us a lot late in games. That because I used to be so tired after practice. I'm talking about like really, really tired. And that feeling that I had was not, getting into the games. I could see that, oh, they're tired after, you know, 10 minutes. We still got 30 minutes to go. So I'm just catching I'm getting my second win, and I'm ready to play, as it's getting late in the game. 4 minutes left, 3 minutes left in the game when it's crunch time. And then we're just revving it up while you're kind of declining. So that's kind of what you're working on the whole time. And yeah, that's really fun.
Yeah, that's what Larry talked about, throwing up, not having too much Gatorade before when we talked to him, and
Yeah.
then Preston,
Yeah.
just how you guys were going, and he credits your whole conditioning to when it would get to like the 8 minute mark, 4 minute mark, whenever he said when you were
Yeah.
talking about the Marquette game, he's like, that's
Yeah.
when we saw them and they were down. It's like, okay, this is when we make our
Yeah.
run, because this is what we've been practicing all summer for. You guys
Yeah.
are, when you see the fatigue set in for them, that's when you guys just turn it up another level.
We somehow found a way to play harder the last 5 minutes than we did do the first 5 minutes, if that makes sense. Like,
There's probably going to be something pretty bad on the end of that 5 minutes instead of that first
man,
5 minutes.
because you got Coach P over there looking at you like, man, you better get, y'all better do something. But yeah, hey, I love it, and it's college basketball. It's nothing like it.
Yeah. So the roster turnover is completely different than when you were there. Now it's complete. Every year you're basically meeting entire new teammates. At least when you were there, you'd be with the same people 2,
Yeah.
3, 4 years. How long would it take you to get accustomed to your new teammates back then?
Uh, I don't think not long at all. Sometimes it takes the first hour, someday, first day, just especially when you get on the court, because somebody you might not vibe with them too much off the court, but on the court, and you can see how they play. it's like, oh, okay, this kid, he can go. I don't care how he acting. I know he play hard, and that's where we all find our common ground and our brotherhood. No matter what you're like off the court, what you do, when we get on in between these lines, we all got each other's back. And I know what you can do. I know that you're a killer, you a killer, you a killer. As long as you a killer, I don't care what you do. Just be a killer on the court. Don't if you soft, if you shell up, then we're not gonna get along.
Yeah.
We're not gonna get along. If you're not a killer, if you're not a fighter, then you're gonna have a hard time. I'm just letting you know. But
Yeah.
getting to know everybody. Go ahead.
I mean, those locker rooms, you've got people from, you got Rakeem Buckles from Florida all the way from U to Sacramento, and then Russ from Brooklyn, and then you got Van Treese from Indiana. It's like you're bringing it's a melting pot of people.
That used to be the thing. It was a regional thing because that's all we would talk about. Just like, oh, you from Cali? Oh, you from New York? Oh, you from Indiana? You from here? You know, so we used to really dig into that, but it was always just fun, you know, fun, and we all appreciated where we were from and respected where everybody was from, and I love that. And Russ from New York got that New York DNA, ball handling, great grind, play anywhere. They'll play on concrete. They'll play on this. They'll play on anything. They just play anywhere. But then you got Indiana, just known for shooters, Hoosiers. Indiana, great in the basketball world. Then I'm all the way from California. Nobody knows anything about California too much. But I'm showing them. I'm like, oh, okay. Because then nobody know. They like, oh, you from Cali? He saw.
That's what Earl, when I was talking to her, you were teaching him all the Cali slang and everything.
Yeah,
that's what he was.
Yeah. It was like, oh, yeah, he Cali. So when you get out there, it's like, okay, you gotta earn your respect. And I did. I had a little cheat code. I played on the East Coast for about a year. Okay. So I got myself accustomed to going at East Coast guys and how they play and how they like to talk when they're. So it made me mentally, just like, okay, you could. I'm not falling for nothing on the court. You could say whatever to me. I'm zoning you out. But yeah, I loved it. I love getting to know people from everybody from different regions and see how they play basketball, how we all came together in this one room and made it to this one place and accomplished all of this because of basketball. So, hey, that's what it is.
Was it kind of a culture? I mean, obviously now you've played all around the world, but as a 17, 18-year-old kid, was it a culture shock going from California to, was it Pennsylvania? Did you play in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, I was in Massachusetts.
Massachusetts, okay. So is it like a complete different world, or was it still just?
Yeah. I was like, what am I doing? I just call it a spook town. I was in like a haunted town. All the houses look haunted. You know, it got real spooky at nighttime. You know, but I learned a lot from that place. It built a lot of character, and it let me know that I'm really tough. You know, and shoot, I don't know. I work hard and I work my way out of, a crazy situation, a lot of situations, and shoot, it was cool. It was another experience that I love to have. So I'm very familiar with Boston and Massachusetts area. I know those places. Yeah, for sure.
For the general public that don't really know about a prep school, what's the biggest difference from like a regular high school to going and playing in prep school, going to prep school? Just what's the whole difference like?
Yeah, well, you are actually a high school student. You're getting high school credits, but you're sometimes actually able to gain an extra year depending on your age. So I was a younger senior, so I was able to gain an extra year. Because I would have graduated at like 16 or 17 or something. 16, I believe. So I live on campus like a college. You know, I stay on campus. I take my classes like as usual high school, but we're playing a preparatory basketball circuit. So we'll play like the Mount Zions and the Pattersons and the Laurinburg preps and the Worcester academies and the yeah, just different preparatory schools. Sometimes we'll get to travel, and it was almost like a college experience. You get ranking. I played with a few guys that were on my prep school team. Played in the NBA a little bit too. Kimmy English, James Sutherland that played for
Oh
Syracuse.
yeah, yeah.
We went to the same preparatory school. My team was really good. We went really far. The team that I had was really good, and those guys grinded it out. We played in. Hey, we had to thug it out in some real slums, man. But hey, it was all worth it, and all those guys went on to be successful and accomplish some great things. So yeah, it's
I think
exciting.
it was. I think when you were there was when they really Coach Pitino started really recruiting. I think it was like Hargrave Military Academy.
Hargrave, yeah.
Yeah. Did you have any encounters with the military academy? Did you ever think about going there? Just
No,
what
oh
was? Do
man,
you know anything about? Yeah. Can you
yeah,
just for the
yeah.
people?
Well, so Notre Dame Prep was the prep school that I went to, but I've had experience with other prep schools as well. So that wasn't the first prep school, but I'll get into that history later. But I did have experience with another prep school that wasn't classified as a military prep school, but they ran it like a military prep school.
Okay.
So the coach was a military guy, and he was big on discipline. So they ran it like a military school without, most military schools would be all boys. So we had what you would call. I'll get into this. Is some interesting. This is an interesting story. So we would have to make our beds, really neatly every morning, which isn't a problem. We can only have like two or three pair of shoes, a couple, it's like six outfits. But the main thing, what we had to do every morning was what you call formation. Any military people, I don't know if y'all still do this, but hey, look, it wasn't. Now I think about it, it wasn't that bad. But when you're a young kid and you come here to play basketball, doing this is
You're
like
not going to the military. I'm here to play basketball.
I'm not going to the military. I love my country, USA, all that, but I'm not in the military. I'm playing basketball. But formation, I'll explain what formation is. Formation is where we're in San Antonio, Texas. We have to go in the hot blazing sun, and we literally got to stand straight with our shoulders up and our thumbs in the air and look up for 1 hour straight. And it's a patroller, a guy or woman that's walking across the hill. They can see everything to see if you move. If you do this, you gotta start over. If you do if you move, even if in San Antonio, Texas, they
That's
got
hot.
scorpions. It's
Yeah.
hot. They got if a scorpion get on your foot, you can't even shake it off. That type of stuff. So it was really interesting. It was an interesting time. It's safe to say I didn't last there too long. I didn't stay
It
there too
seems like
long.
get me out of here.
But I played against other military schools, and I was like, nah, I'm not going for none of that. It ain't no, nah, because they like to incorporate. It's like 50% basketball, 50% military stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah, I was
But yeah,
looking back at the rosters from when you were around, and it was like, I think Luke Hancock was there. I think Gorgie was there. There was like a long list of people that just Hargrave military academy. Like Patino found his
uh,
crop of guys that he wants right there.
yeah, that's all the discipline. Well, Hargrave is, and they were really good. They were a good
Yeah,
team.
yeah, yeah.
I remember they might have. I believe we might have lost to them one or two times on the circuit. Yeah. So, I mean, discipline guys, kudos to them. But hey, not me.
Yeah. We'll move on to our next talk. We kind of talked a little bit about Russ, but both of your former teammates, both Peyton Siva and Russ Smith, are going to be the newest members of the UofL Hall of Fame. I know you
Yes,
said
sir.
Russ was kind of like your little brother when you were there. Do you remember
Yeah, yeah,
this was really the year before when you were with him, the year before he kind of blew up, helped
yeah, yeah.
take Louisville to the Final Four? What do you remember most of both Russ and Peyton?
Just remember, they're undersized, but they're big and hard. They're leaders, especially Peyton. I'll say more so. No, down talking Russ, but uh, Russ leads more just with his energy. At the time, he was leading with his energy and his speed and just his willingness to win and take over. But Peyton he was a great floor general, a leader, and he spoke to it. He spoke to his teammates. He asked them where they want the ball. He always put the ball, exactly at least where I wanted it to. And it's somebody that led by example, that didn't just wasn't ever a trash talker. He was infectious. His energy was infectious, and smart, talented player. But he's so athletic. Especially, let me get into just to Peyton for a minute. Peyton's athleticism was off the charts. I don't know about right now, but Peyton's athleticism was off the charts. His ability to hang in the air, make decisions, come off the dribble quick with his quickness, and shoot the three ball. I mean, and it just what he means to the city, how involved he is in the community. Peyton's everywhere. He's like, Hall of Fame. I see him being a mayor someday. Just his energy and his spirit and the way he is now, just his great spirit that he has now is how he's came in, and that's why he's been able to win over the hearts of all the people, and well deserved Hall of Fame interest. And and Russ energy bring championships to the city. Ridiculousness. Ridiculous. That was a thing. I'm all overseas. All I'm hearing is ridiculous. So those two guys go hand in hand. They bring so much to the city, and I can't wait to be there celebrating with my brothers. Congratulations. Well deserved. And yeah, shoot.
Yeah, Russ, I mean, obviously he's a record. Both him and Peyton broke the steals record when they were here. They were both 6 foot, but a 6 foot backcourt, and they were the best defensive backcourt in the country. And looking around, like, you think of that now, you see that size of backcourt, it's like, how? But I mean, they were so quick and aggressive and were able to get to every spot when they needed to. And I mean, you look at it business wise, both of them are killing it now. Peyton, I don't think, talking to any of his former teammates, are surprised that he's having the success he is coaching. And then Russ is killing it in the bourbon industry. I saw he just had a commercial and a bourbon special with Murr, I think, from Impractical Jokers. So he's killing it. And being from Indiana, I kind of like to compare Peyton Siva to Peyton Manning. Like, being from Indiana, Peyton Manning is like, they call him the sheriff, but he is the governor. He's the president of Indiana. Like, he was the picture perfect example of who you want leading a franchise, you want just as a leader in general. He was all about his teammates. He was everywhere with the community. And like, you look at Peyton Siva, he's everywhere in the community. He's someone that not one teammate has anything bad to say about him, because he was out there putting his life out there for all of his teammates, and they saw how much he cared about them. So both of those guys, they've definitely earned their spot in history. And I know Russ has got his jersey up in the rafters right now, and I don't know why Peyton doesn't yet. That's gotta come soon. So I don't know why he doesn't have that number 3 up there. I guess it's too good of a number to have retired, but I mean, I don't know.
It's coming soon.
Just wanted to take a second and give a big shout out to Best Way, home of the low price guaranteed, or it's free, where you can get all of your home furnishing needs on a deal. They have everything from smart refrigerators, washer, dryer sets, 86-inch TVs, PS5s, Xboxes, all the way to reclining living room suites and bedroom suites. Best Way offers so many ways to pay, from retail, rent-to-own, and even financing through Lendmark, with 2 locations in Indiana, one in New Albany, and one in Jeffersonville. 5 locations in Kentucky: Radcliffe, Dixie Highway, Hikes Lane, Shelbyville, and Shepherdsville. Stop by today and tell them that we sent you to get $100 off your new item. Now let's get back to the show.
All right, we'll get into a little bit of upcoming season talk now. It was announced a couple days ago that Frank Anselm eBay is now a grad assistant. Obviously, he didn't play as much last year, but it was him and Chucky felt like the leaders of that team. How important do you think it is to have like a vibes guy in a locker room? Obviously, like, he had no ego about playing time, but his message was always felt throughout that locker room. How important is it to have a teammate that just has no ego and is there to be there for his teammates?
Oh, man, that's huge. I mean, that's super huge. That allows when you're on a team, everybody has a role that they have to play, and there'll be times, different times where you'll have your guys that don't have a major role, but it's just this game or these next couple games, they're they play a poignant role in what we're trying to accomplish. So it's always great to have a glue guy, somebody that's there to keep the morale of the team, whether it be just keeping it light, jokes with just seeing something from the outside. Maybe one of the guys getting in their head too much. Somebody that's not a coach, somebody that's out there going to war with you, pull you to side, give you some accountability, give you some pointers, maybe let you know what they're seeing, maybe giving you different looks. And yeah, it's keeping the morale of the team and keeping that energy flowing.
Yeah, I kind of want to think of it, brings me to like George Good. Of obviously we've talked about him, and he said that he didn't have the career that he would have hoped to at Louisville, but I'm going to say that you guys loved him as a teammate, and when you guys were going against him in practice, he was fighting for a playing spot, and it's not like he was going easy or anything, so that just gave the respect to him even more.
For sure. You got these guys out here, they work hard and they're trying to get their position, but everybody is going to have their moment to shine. But and it's not always just on the court, it's always just mentally, somebody that can keep you mentally on par, keep you mentally locked in, and everybody knowing that everybody is willing to sacrifice for the team and put their ego to the side. That's what it is. You got to be able to put your ego to the side for the greater good.
Yeah, put the ego aside, and you look at George today. Shoot, he's one of the best EYBL coaches out there in the country. So shout out George.
There you go. Shout out George, man.
So going into our upcoming season schedule, our full schedule has been announced yesterday. Our non-conference has been out for a while. We've got Memphis, Arkansas, IU, UK, Baylor, and Tennessee. Outside of UK, what non-conference game are you looking forward to most this year?
Probably Tennessee. They really gave it to us last year, so we want to make sure we come get our get back. Rick Barnes, he's been there, I believe, 9 seasons. So he's a really great coach, but I think just that play style is going to be with him and PK matching up. That head coach style coming together, it's going to be super, super exciting to watch and super intense. And we got to get our get back. And that's what we're looking forward to do. They got some really great guys returning, and we got to bring it. But I think we're going to match up a little bit better just as far as with our size and the interior. So I think it's going to be a different look, different scope. So we'll see how it plays out, but I think we'll come out on top.
Yeah, they got us up here last year. We got to go down there. I hate to do this, but on paper, we look like we've got a better roster, but also Rick Barnes is a Hall of Fame coach. You can't ever count a Hall of Fame coach out. So, it's going to be a dogfight. That's one thing about a Rick Barnes team. He's going to go in there. He's going to be ready to punch you in the mouth. And, PK is not going to let anybody punch him in the mouth. So he's going to be looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's gonna get really interesting, and we're gonna have to bring it. We're gonna be in their house, so we're gonna have to come with extra energy. I know PK is gonna have a stellar game plan for us coming in. I'd like to see Michael get out there, see what he's gonna do, and I just would like to see us take advantage of our size and the interior. So we'll see how we're looking the next upcoming weeks. But this schedule, this non-conference schedule, it's looking pretty spicy.
Yeah. I know when you were in college, there was these away crowds that you were going into. I could only imagine, like West Virginia. I could only imagine what they were screaming at people. The games that you guys were going to. Who else was other crazy fan bases in the Big East? Who were some other crazy ones? Pittsburgh, yeah. Both Pittsburgh and West Virginia, shockingly. Was there any other places?
Notre Dame.
People were crazy.
Yeah, Notre Dame for sure, because the Irish, they got a little leprechauns running around, and it's a small building. But the ones that are really smaller arenas are the more intense.
because they're packing that out. Student sections going crazy. They're making noise. I mean, it's just all type of mayhem going on. So, yeah,
Are there
it's
any
that
student
time of
section
year.
moments or anything that stick out to you? Like, this guy's what? I can't believe he said that. I can't believe he's doing that. Are there any moments that
Oh
stick out?
man, I'm not gonna say who, but it was one particular game. I'm not gonna say the school name, but they had a they had a picture of me with my shirt off when I had a MySpace. I don't know if y'all remember MySpace, but it was a pretty precarious picture that I took, and it wasn't one of my best pictures, but they were like, I couldn't do nothing. I saw it, and I couldn't do nothing but just laugh. It was hilarious. It was super hilarious.
We can't get
They're
the school
like
name. Can't get the
titties.
school name.
It was Virginia, West Virginia. I'm sorry.
West.
Yeah,
Of
West
course,
Virginia.
it's
Yeah,
West Virginia. Yeah, they've probably
yeah,
been.
but
That was probably a noon game, and they've been drinking since 7:30
it
in the
was a noon
morning.
game. It was a
Yeah,
noon
they've
game
been
for
drinking
sure.
since 7:30 in the morning.
For sure, noon game. That's definitely what I remember. Oh man, they were just clowning like Jennings put a shirt on. But
Yeah,
nah,
that's
man,
I've
crazy
always
time
heard
of
of
year.
West Virginia, especially in football. It's just like their fans, when West Virginia's winning, like they're
Yeah,
unbearable. Their fan base,
right,
but that's what makes college sports college sports. You gotta love it.
right. Yeah, for sure. You got to, man.
Yeah.
But
But out of all these, if I'm looking forward to one, I like the. I don't think we played them at all when you were here, but we're kind of renewing that rivalry with Memphis. That
oh
was
yeah,
an old Conference USA rivalry we had. I know that the shoot there's a big when Larry and them went to the Final Four. They were playing Memphis in the Conference USA Championship, and
yeah.
it came down to the last like that was a season defining moment. Memphis went home because they lost the game winning shot on free throws, and Louisville ended up making the run to the Final Four on that. So there's always been just that hatred there, and I know the fan bases are looking forward to it. It's a home game on a Saturday. And
Man.
Memphis, they look legit coming up this coming year. They got a lot of bodies, and
Yeah,
I think that Penny Hardaway finally might be getting that place to where originally you
right,
thought when you hear Penny Hardaway, you think he's coming into college basketball. I think he's starting to get that ship right.
right. Yeah, shout out Penny Hardaway, man, legend. But hey, we coming in to do business. We
Yeah,
want to do business.
yeah, they got a
For
lot of
sure.
transfers coming in, but I think that's going to be a crowd that Louisville fans are looking forward to, and it's going to be a crazy atmosphere.
Yeah, it's gonna be live in there for sure.
So we'll dive into our conference schedule as well. That was just freshly announced. We've got Duke on the schedule twice in January. We go to North Carolina, to Clemson, to Miami, but we've got NC State at home. Are there any games that you're really looking forward to in the conference schedule?
Yeah, for sure. Duke. We looking for them. They're the only team ranked above us, so we're trying to come take their heads off. And then shoot, they got I believe the Blues are twins.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
believe, so they're some freshmen, but I've been watching. They're really good, really talented. Duke always has great talent,
Yeah, Duke's gonna
and
be
it's just
Duke.
gonna they're gonna be Duke's gonna be Duke. So we're just gonna come in there, and I like to see how Pat Kelsey he prepares for this game, because this is gonna be a huge one for him to come out here and really really put on and prepare his guys, because Duke is power forward, head of our conference. We got to beat them, and that's gonna kind of set the tone for the rest of our season.
This is, I believe, one of the primetime Monday night matchups on ESPN.
Yeah.
And the team that I was actually going to pick is our next Monday night primetime game, and that's NC State. I think NC
Okay.
State's going to be. They hired Will Wade this year. I think was Kevin Keats here when was he a coach when you were here, or did he come the year after?
No, probably after.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So he replaced Kevin Keats down at NC State. He brought in 10 transfers, and they're not, I mean, he's coming everywhere Will Wade has been, he's won. He brought in 10 transfers, and Darian Williams was one of the top in the whole portal. He brought Kadir Copeland from McNeese. Will Wade should
Yeah,
be coaching in the SEC in the first place. He was at
right.
LSU. He was winning in the LSU. Kind of got wrapped up in some stuff. McNeese was the only place that would hire him, and now NC
Okay.
State's gave him another shot. And I think that he's going to make. I know Duke is in Carolina. You got North Carolina, but NC State, if Will Wade is there, is going to be somebody to watch out for. And year one, they've already brought in those 10 transfers. They got Vin Allen Lubin from UNC, so they're coming in. I think they're projected right after us in the ACC, so they're going to be a tough out for sure.
Shout them out, man, for all that. Hey, we ready to see some basketball, some college basketball, conference, non-conference. It don't matter. We ready to play. It don't matter.
Yeah. The last thing that we'll kind of wrap up with, what do you think going in between the fans know that when non-conference and conference play switches, it kind of feels like a whole different season. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
these
for
next three
sure.
seasons, we got to lock down, we got to
Yeah.
win. From a player's perspective, what's that transition like from non-conference play to conference play?
Well, so the non-conference, you don't really have to gain too much familiarity with the teams that you're playing because you're not gonna see them as much. But with conference, you want to kind of get to know the teams that you're playing because you're gonna see them possibly more than once, depending on, tournament and all that stuff. But you're gonna have to get familiar with, know your personnel, get familiar with your opponent and all that stuff. So you have to become way more locked in. And yeah, just preparation, just a lot more preparation. But conference play, that's where it really begins. That to me, that's really where the season begins. Non-conference is like we're just getting in shape, we're getting in game shape, we're just warming up. But and getting all the bugs out, But of course, we want to win. We want to beat these non-conference teams. But if we're gonna make a mistake or if something gonna happen, all right. Really preseason, we don't want to make no mistakes, but we want to figure out where we're lacking at, what we need to improve in within these first 2 games. We got 2 games to figure it out. All right. And that's gonna carry us, or whatever our identity is, we need to figure out what's our identity for this season. Those first couple of games, you're gonna have to really decide what type of identity you're gonna present and who you are as a team. Because hey, you only got what they say, first impressions is everything, man. You only got one time to make a first impression. So who are you gonna be when you step out there? So that non-conference game, that first game, you got to at least set the tone on who you are, and then that'll carry you. So yeah.
Yeah, the first 2 games, kind of figuring out who you are in that season. It brings me back to last year against Tennessee, how we came out, we thought we were going to be one team. We go and play Tennessee. They kind of smacked us in the mouth. And it
Right.
seems like we kind of had to readjust our game plan from there. I know Trey Ori got hurt. I think he was out for about a month after that. And that's where fans were like, oh no, are we going to go downhill from here? But that's where those guys locked down. It's like, we're going to establish our identity right here. And they made sure that they stuck through it, and they had a successful season.
Yeah. Some people I like to dig holes. I like to dig heels. I like this. Let's dig a heel. Okay. Because you don't want to dig yourself out of a hole, man. It's tough. So you want to start off on top. We want to be on top of everything. Yeah.
For sure. All right. Well, that's going to do it for today. We covered a lot, but we'll be back next week with another interview. Terence, you got anything before we leave?
Hey, man, thank you to all our supporters. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, follow Spilling the Veal on all platforms. And thank you to all our sponsors, Unrivaled Mixed Nations, Best Way, Cardinal Sports Zones, and JP Creative. Appreciate all y'all, man. Thank you.
Yes, sir. If you haven't yet, go ahead and scan that QR code. Get that free $26 wash at Unrivaled. Also, go into Best Way. Get your $100 off your new item. Tell them that Spilling the Veal sent you. They've got everything electronic-wise. We're in the NFL season, college football season. Get you a new TV to put up in your house. If you need a PlayStation with the new Madden coming out, 2K, they can hook you up. Go in there. You won't regret it. But that'll be for today.
All right. Thank you.